Welcome to CineQuest Video.
Hello and welcome to CineQuest Video, the podcast that delves deep into the VHS classics to the modern day format and beyond.
Beyond. Artsy time.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Criterion, everyone.
The good stuff.
We, as the normal crew of CineQuest Video, are ill-equipped, uninformed, and uneducated in the ways of the Criterion collection.
Uninterested, even? I don't know. It depends.
I could say, yeah. As far as the spectrum is concerned,
right.
The majority of us are uninterested. I would probably be more interested than the rest of y'all.
That doesn't mean that the facilitation isn't in the works. You know what? Like we can help the baby birds that we know spread the wings and off.
So on this CineQuest Video, the Criterion crew are tackling Robocop.
Knocking that bitch down.
Right. You would think thereuld be something we could do, but apparently not.
No.
Part of the Criterion collection? What the fuck, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. They ran with this. And more power to them. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so for the more qualified, probably more educated in film,
The initiated,
we present to you Criterion CineQuest Video with your host, Idanya. Hope you enjoy.
Knock it down.
Welcome to CineQuest Video's special edition of the Criterion Collection, and with your hostess, with the mostess, Idanya, and my gang here, my co-host,
DA,
and reappearing,
Ron,
and new guest,
long-time listener, first-time guest, Cougar.
There you have it. So for today's movie, I have decided to go beyond what I like to watch, and this is actually a very questionable title in the Criterion Collection. It's very high up there with Michael Bay's Armageddon, which of course there's a reason why these movies don't have a reprint to begin with. They're still probably available in Laserdisc, but yeah, I wanted to go ahead and just discuss the movie Robocop. Now, Robocop was directed by Paul Verhoeven. It was released in 1987. Has a spine number of 23. So, Criterion spine. Yeah. Like, I'm seriously, I told Ray, I was like, I'm pretty sure it was just some bro that was providing all of the money that was like, you know what, dude, we should release Robocop, man. And the gang was like, well, he's the one that pays the pizza, so exactly. We might as well give him the Robocop.
Is it on DVD or is it just on Laserdisc?
Just on Laserdisc.
Is it really?
Has not been reprinted at all. It doesn't even exist in that realm anymore of Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah, actually, recently they accidentally released the X-rated version of RoboCop on Amazon Prime.
No way.
Yeah, it was out for like maybe a day or two, and then they took it off and replaced it with the original version, the theatrical version.
Do you know if it leaked anywhere? I would love to see that.
I hope it did. Yeah.
I need to.
I missed out. Yeah. What was cut out of it?
I know what would be cut out of it. It's such
just
a
more
gory
violence,
ass movie.
More gore, yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Like I think like shots like where they linger more on like
Yeah, I like
his hand blown off.
And 209 just goes off for like 10 more minutes on the guy, just like. I don't know. Honestly, I can see where you're coming from, but I also, this movie having so much influence and being such a cult classic and everyone knowing the name Robocop, it's really shocking to me that it never got a reprint. I don't know, kind of just one of those movies that Criterion, not that they're a company that would cash in on anything, but it's interesting that they never reprinted just for the sake of the name Robocop.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's just because of the sake of the name or just for the sake of the content, but I mean, this is the type of film I would mostly see on Arrow Video before I would see it on Criterion. But I can understand why. I mean, going back to some of the basics, the cinematographer for this movie was Joss Bacano. I don't know what other works he has done. Starring was Peter Weller.
Yay.
He's amazing. Yes. Fantastic actor.
Beautiful man.
And Nancy Allen, Kurtwood Smith, which is recognizable as Eric Foreman's dad in That 70s
He's
Show.
Awesome. I love his character.
And another recognizable face was Miguel Ferrer, which works worked for Twin Peaks with David Lynch.
Dude, I was wondering why you look so familiar. Twin Peaks. Oh my god.
That's the dad, right?
Yes.
No.
Well,
That's
the dad's in
the dad's also
what's
in
his
this
name?
movie.
Ray
Yeah.
Wise. He's
Ray
also
Wise, yeah.
The dad from Twin Peaks?
Yeah, he plays one of the gang members.
He
Leon.
does. Yeah.
He's the one that
Leon,
Robocop
yeah.
fights in the.
Dude, what on
He fights him
earth?
in the,
In the
fights him in
club.
the club.
That's true. What? I didn't recognize him at all, dude.
Yeah, dude, he was in it, and you know.
That's
Now
nuts.
going back to, also he's known. Well, Paul Verhoeven is known for doing the movie Showgirls, and you know who comes out in that one?
Terrifying.
Kyle
Kyle MacLachlan, which ruined his career,
I know it made his career.
and then he had to come back at Desperate Housewives.
Yeah, he did.
And the score for this movie on Rotten Tomatoes is actually surprisingly 89%, and the IMDb, which is mostly just general audiences, is 7.6 out of 10.
Well, I don't think that's surprisingly. It's actually it's a good
don't
movie.
Thank you.
It's a good movie.
RoboCop, the
Thank you.
RoboCop theme is awesome.
Thank
That
you.
iconic dun 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 dun.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right,
go.
so it's set in a crime-ridden Detroit, Michigan. In the near future, RoboCop centers on police officer Alex Murphy, which is Peter Weller's character, who is murdered by a gang of criminals and subsequently revived by the mega corporation Omni Consumer Products, OCP, as a human cyborg law enforcer known as RoboCop. So, RoboCop. Do we want to start with opinions?
We can.
All right.
Do I go first? I'll go first.
Go
Sure.
first.
I love this movie. This movie is amazing. It's awesome. I like everything about it. Ed 209 looks sick. Whoever was in charge of making that model for Ed 209 did like an amazing job, because I haven't seen that movie in like probably like 4 or 5 years. And when they showed like that shot of him like first putting his leg down, you see like the hydraulics and the gears and everything underneath like the panels. It looks really well done. You can tell like they probably put a lot of work into that model. And yeah, RoboCop looks cool. I like how he moves like a robot. I don't remember him moving that stiff all the time.
Yeah.
Peter Weller's dude.
Yeah,
He-
I read
That was him.
sold it,
Yeah. It's like him in a suit, obviously. But
Yeah,
like
it's
he
a real
did it.
suit, and it was hard, for him to get around in, and he stayed in character, so I'm sure,
God damn.
You know.
He did an awesome job.
yeah.
Dude, and I think what really drove your point home for me about Ed 209, I made my brother watch that for the first time. He's 19, and he's seen the meme everywhere, because it's been memed to death on Family Guy and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he actually saw it, and he's like, this is so much more shocking and so much funnier than any of the memes. Like, it's so funny, it's so effective. The fact that his name is Ed is just so funny. Like, everything worked about this movie. He also enjoyed it. And I think that also drove the point home for me that, like, it's just a fun movie, and
Yeah,
you
it's
should
just-
take it
Yeah,
as
it
such.
is. I feel
kinda-
like, yeah.
and I think
Screenwriter
that's
of
why
the
it
film's name is
became
Ed,
such an instant cult classic. I mean, it's
Ed
just such a
Neumeyer.
blast. What?
Yeah.
No, I was just saying that the screenwriter of the film was also named Ed.
Oh, really? Makes sense. Yeah, just like, I don't know what
stands
that
for
says about
something.
killing everyone in the company.
I forgot what he said. It
And the
stands
head of the
for.
company.
Same guy who wrote Starship Troopers.
Oh, nice.
What?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
That's
sense.
a good movie,
Same
too,
writing,
yeah.
directing team did Starship Troopers.
Very, yeah.
Which is
that
why,
make-
I don't want to go off on Starship Troopers right now, but there's a lot of similarities.
It is,
The
it is,
RoboCop
yeah.
that
Now
you see
that I-
also in that movie.
Interesting.
Very cool.
Dystopia.
Kooks?
Dystopia.
Opinions.
Oh, it goes without saying, I love RoboCop. RoboCop is my second father. I was raised by RoboCop.
Nice. Aww.
Peter Weller he's great. I have a lot of nostalgic love for the movie. I mean, even the second movie, which isn't as good as the first, I still kind of like, because it's silly, but it has a great performance by the villain, just like, the first one. And the second one, it's he's played by what's that guy's name?
What does he come out in?
Yeah.
The House of the Devil.
Oh, nice.
His name escapes me right now.
How's
Tom
the
Noonan, that's his name. Tom Noonan.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's the villain in the second one. He gives a
Yo.
similar, like, outrageous kind of memorable performance as the villain, like that Kurtwood Smith gives in this one.
I mean, I want to
Yeah.
watch two just for Peter Weller. Like I said, like I would have skipped rewatching Don't Look Now just to watch RoboCop 2.
yeah, because Kurtwood Smith, he gets.
What?
I want to see Peter Weller again in this role. He just really was so much fun. His
Yeah.
enthusiasm and how much he gave himself into this role and how much of a blast it is from beginning to end. I don't know. This movie's a lot of fun. I think you should just not really. It's not one to deconstruct. It is definitely It's nothing like Don't Look Now or Subtle, but it doesn't mean it doesn't deserve its spot in the Criterion collection, because I think it has well established itself as a cult classic for a very good reason. It is just so funny and so clever in so many different ways, and the way it executes itself from beginning to end is absolutely brilliant.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
I can kind of understand how it has that cult classic
Yeah, and it has that cultural impact.
feel to it, but I don't know. I was still a little bit not
Feeling it?
feeling it. No,
No?
I
Fair
wasn't.
enough.
Not even the interesting dynamic of gender neutrality that it offered in the film.
Wow, Cougar.
Oh
Way
my
to play that card.
That's true. The first time you see Lewis, she like knocks some dude out
She does.
like in one punch.
Yeah, I did feel,
She's a
especially when he's like, so you're driving, and then you have a female driving, whereas men would just be like, women can't drive, but
Yeah.
here you have this strong, badass woman driving a car, pretty much kicking ass, and then getting kicked.
She's the only
out.
one to like risk her life to save him too, while everyone's like
Yeah.
shooting him.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true. She
there's-
went against her. It felt very like 1984, where everybody's just like brainwashed in that police academy or
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
police station, except for her. She's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna follow to what everybody else is doing. I know that's Murphy, because she asked him. It's like, Murphy, is that you?
Yeah, and that sparks the whole thing.
And then that sparks that ending.
yeah.
Yeah, and then also, back with the whole, police station thing. There's that bit where the guys and the guys and the ladies are changing in the same room. Like, there's no.
Oh yeah.
There's
yeah.
no distinct, gender problems, or everybody's just a cop.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it creates this sort of world unto itself. It's a dystopia of sorts. I wouldn't consider it a utopia, I guess. So that's.
And it starts off that way too.
But I'm
by
not sure if
the-
that automatically makes it a dystopia either. But I guess it is more than it is anything else.
They're just like quick little glimpses into
I'd call it a
world that they
dystopian
live in.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the TV really sells. Like they always show like the news, or they show
Yeah.
They
commercials.
show the news a lot.
Or they show,
I
like,
love
TV.
that.
Yeah,
I
it-
love that so much.
really
Those
puts you
news
into the-
commercials, I want movies out of them. Some of them are so clever and so brilliant, and I think that adds to just the hilarity of the film because it's so outlandish and so out there.
It was very outlandish. Like at some point, I thought it was like Trauma with high definition cinematography.
No, see,
You
for
know?
me, it felt more along the lines of someone like, help me out here, Brazil. Is
Terry
by-
Gilliam?
Yes.
Yeah, Gilliam.
Something more along the lines of that kind of surrealism.
Yeah.
Satirical.
Yeah, his kind of like weirdly coolness. I think that Robocop definitely pushes it to kind of a more actiony, gory extreme. But I like that kind of silly outlandishness.
Yeah, like there's the
Evil Dead 2 with Army of Darkness, I would say, are
it's all
also
like-
kind of that kind of goofy, fun
You know,
slapstick.
yeah, you're right. Like I actually felt a lot of like Cronenberg in some of
Yeah,
the scenes.
I wanted to mention Cronenberg when the guy gets out of the goo, when he
Yeah.
gets out
Yeah,
of
the toxic
the
waste.
toxic waste, and he looks like a literal Cronenberg.
That looked really
figure.
good, yeah.
That looks
Yeah.
so awesome.
It
The
looked
use
really
of practical
real.
effects overall in this film, the use of
Yeah.
practical effects is just fantastic.
Yeah, special effects was pretty good, but like I said, at some point I thought it was also kind of like campy in
Yeah,
a way,
it's
but
supposed
it's
to be.
supposed to be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I hardly ever watch movies in the Criterion collection that are like campy, this way.
That
Like
I.
the scene where the commercial with the family playing that battleship game, Nukem.
No,
Don't
yeah.
you- Wait.
Nukem. Yeah, and that reminded me of that
I
one
love
trauma
that.
movie,
What is it?
Nukem High.
Yeah.
We did a
What is
podcast
it?
about that.
Pakistan is invading my border. Like it's just beautiful.
No, the one with the dinosaur. Which one was that one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's for the
dinosaur.
6000 SUX, which
Yeah.
like sucks. Like,
Yeah,
and
I
they all
also
want
love how like
X.
that
That one was
starts
good.
like it looks like it's happening in the city, and you're like, oh my god, is there a dinosaur in this now? And you're like,
That's so
the movie's so crazy that it just could happen, and I love that. The first time I watched it, I was like, holy shit, there's a dinosaur.
And if that's the advertising that they have in that world, just imagine like
It's fantastic.
everyday life
I
living there.
know.
Detroit.
The world it creates, I think we don't give it credit enough.
Yeah, it really builds the
It
world up.
really does. Yeah.
Everyone wants that car, like the mayor that has the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
ex-mayor
Oh, yeah.
that has the other mayor hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, anything you want. It's like the 6000 SUX.
Yeah,
It's like, how about cruise
this
control?
sucks.
Anything you want. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, it's so stupid. He's like arguing about cruise control.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, and it works.
I just like how all the cops drove like the Ford Taurus in that movie.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
they did, right?
Like it's like that's the go-to cop car, the Ford Taurus,
And it's like blacked out too. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's so, they look so cool. Him driving the police car is like the coolest shit ever. It's like a robot driving a police car. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell
it is.
that?
It's very fucking like cool dude just driving in his car. It kind of reminds me of that one movie, Drive.
I love Drive. I was
With Ryan
reminded of
Gosling.
Drive though.
Ryan
I don't know.
Two robots driving cars.
Oh,
I like
okay.
Drive a lot. I like Drive a lot.
Yeah, Drive is good.
Drive is fantastic.
All right, so that robot scene, that very first scene when they bring out that big bulgy robot
At
that murders the
209.
guy.
Respect
Dude.
the name.
Yeah,
That
you lit him up,
scene.
man.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. You could tell
Yeah.
they had like a bunch of
Hey,
squibs.
it's not it's not Ed's fault. He did not hear the gun drop.
But it wasn't about
He didn't hear the gun drop. That's the only reason it
I
happened.
heard the gun drop.
Okay, Ed didn't.
I heard the
Okay.
beat drop too.
That is, it's not anyone's fault. Can we not? Let's not play the blame game.
I like how they were like nonchalant about the murder. Though.
They were
like,
not.
Yeah,
They were
but-
horrified. They like
but-
ran out of the room.
But like the higher up, I forgot the guy's name. The guy who makes RoboCop, like
Yeah,
someone
Miguel
on his
Ferrer's
team,
character.
someone on his team dies, and like he's the only thing he can think about is like, how can I get the deal? Because this guy just fucked up.
Yeah.
And then the other friend is like, Shane, what happened about Kenny? And that's all they talk
Yeah.
about after that. He's like, he got murdered in front of him, and like.
He was
In
collateral
the most
damage.
like gruesome way you possibly can, and like just like
So much
it
vaginas.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the character's name is Bob, played by Miguel Ferrer.
Bob Morton.
Yeah, and he's against Dick Jones, played by Ronnie Cox.
This cemented for me that like this is Kurtwood Smith's best performance.
Oh,
You
yeah,
really? I
definitely.
couldn't take
I-
it serious
I
though.
love-
Every
it.
scene he's in, it's chewing
He
scenery.
is so electric and so psychotic and so much fun and just an absolute blast to watch.
Bobby?
yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
That's like my favorite line. Yeah, he's really
He
good.
has all
much
the best
fun.
lines in the movie.
He has all the
He
best lines,
does.
all the one-liners I wanted to write down and
He
just quote.
just barges into a guy's apartment, pulls a gun out, and just says, "Bitches leave."
But just yeah. He's fantastic,
Just
and
immediately
by
takes over the
far
whole
my,
scene.
my favorite character in the movie. I wanted to say, as much as I love Peter Weller's RoboCop, he just stole the show for me.
He did, but I couldn't take him seriously though.
That's the point.
Was it his?
Wait, were you supposed
it was
to?
all a
his hair.
joke to me.
It's meant to be
Yeah,
a
like-
satire about a dystopian future that we'll never live in.
But there was that borderline, that one borderline where I don't know if he's being serious or sarcastic, or maybe that's just the way I'm supposed to feel about him.
Maybe.
He
It's just over
pulls
the
pin
top.
from the grenade with his tongue.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, he does
yeah.
I think it's supposed to be. I mean, like RoboCop's not based on any like. There is RoboCop comics, but
I was gonna
I feel
say-
like it's not based on anything. But I feel like that's the vibe they were going for, because they even say in the movie where it's like. Kids are meeting what their parents thought they'd only read about in comic books.
Yes, they do say
So
that.
I kind of feel like them being over the top, the villains especially, because I mean, even like the rest of his gang are like, they're
Yeah.
laughing at like the most gruesome shit. It's like a comic book. It's like that's how like the
it did
villains
feel
used to.
like a superhero
Yeah.
movie.
It's kind of I would say a lot like movies like maybe like Scott Pilgrim feel like comic
They're
book
evil,
movies.
and that's like that's all they are. They're evil
even
to
though
the
they're
core.
not really well, Scott Pilgrim is right, but there are movies that aren't really directly comic book related, but they just have that
feel, yeah.
and it works for movies like that. And RoboCop, I can
Wherever-
see that
where-
association.
It's kind of black and white. The good guys are the good guys, and the bad. I mean, there's gray because there's
Yeah.
good guys
There
that are
is
also.
gray.
And that also
Like part
leads
of them?
to
Yeah.
that also leads to an argument that I heard online, which I think is preposterous, of course. But it's how pro cop RoboCop is, and it is a pro cop propaganda film. I know this. I mean, I think this was by like I'm sure it was like some 15-year-old that was just complaining about cop movies on film Twitter. But RoboCop was named one of those movies that is just like bullshit cop propaganda, and I'm like, come on, you
What?
cannot
If you take it
attach
literally,
a
sure.
stigma
Yeah, if you don't
from
read
like a
between the
cult
lines.
classic. I think it's the perception, and I had brought this up last time with what movie did we talk about last time?
The Night Porter.
Yeah, The Night Porter. How our current just day and our current society loves attaching so much bullshit to the movies now, and it kind of almost diminishes the quality of the film because it's almost like we're forced to see it through a different scope now.
Oh,
And I was like,
definitely.
no, I refuse to do that for Robocop. It is a glorious film. It is not pro-cop propaganda.
I would say it's almost probably satire because
Yeah, it is satire
Because,
through and
it's
through.
easily satire.
Definitely.
what's Starship Troopers? I mean,
course.
that's like. I mean, it's meant to look like pro, like war,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
only good bug's a dead bug, and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but there's like it's almost like anti-war because there's that scene where
Yeah.
like they show that guy, I forgot the actor's name, but they show him like as a war hero, and then he's they're like at the recruitment place. And then like you see him like with an arm off, and he's like, "You gotta like join the military and shit like that."
Yeah.
But like he's just on a
I
desk,
fresh
like
meat for the
recruiting.
grinder.
At the
Yeah,
end
like-
of the day, even RoboCop is because it shows how corrupt the entire thing is.
A company bought him
So
out.
like
Yeah.
it's just absolutely ridiculous because for one, he is owned by a corporation.
The
not
corporation
even
owns the cops.
Yeah, like he's not even like police. Like it's just it's a dumb argument.
And
I
one
know.
of his directives is that he can't even do anything
Yeah.
against the higher ups of the company.
Yeah, he's
You're
not allowed
fired.
to hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah, which brings me into the whole discussion of RoboCop's cognition when he starts. So we already go through Murphy's murder, which was pretty fucking gnarly.
Oh, and the shot of his
Oh,
arm,
yeah.
that shit looks amazing.
Oh,
Looks really
they
good.
called him a turtle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This
they
giant
did.
body armor that he was wearing.
Yep.
yeah, but after that, when they, I honestly thought that was it. That, he's dead. They're not gonna bring him back, and then they bring him back as RoboCop. And I bet they didn't expect him to have the memory, have the cognition, have the kind of set of emotion because he's a robot. So this really brings a light to pretty much the future of people being robots, because we're going towards that nowadays.
Is it people being robots or is it artificial intelligence or both?
Artificial intelligence.
Well, because it is both. I mean, if you look at movies about people, a film like RoboCop also accepts the kind of notion that we will merge with machine, and it's been explored in film and TV.
The
But
line between humans and like AI.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
but the fact that we can also be part machine and be human. I mean, RoboCop is quite literally about
Yeah.
that. But I also think that I don't know. It plays a big part in the film, I guess. What was that?
Jamie has a dog.
Aw,
Oh.
doggy. I don't know. I lost that.
She's just like, stop talking bad about RoboCop, Idanya.
I love RoboCop. I don't know. It's
a classic.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so as you were saying,
But yeah, no, I didn't expect him to have that sort of memory. Like when he goes to his house and he starts remembering his wife and his son. I didn't expect that from RoboCop, because
Yeah, that's great.
you assume that he's just there to do the robotic stuff. He's not there to do the mental stuff, the feelings, and you can tell that he has some sort of emotions, the way that he feels, especially about avenging his murder.
yeah.
But how would he remember that if he was just a robot?
He remembers it all slowly after after he's told that he's Murphy, and then
And he has the dream.
has a dream.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, he's told. He ends up finding the dude, brings him in, everything.
he's like jerking back and forth. Like,
That part's great.
Yes,
It's,
yeah.
this very intense dream. Oh, jeez.
after he eats his baby food.
Oh my god, no, it's paste. It is a compost paste or something.
Yeah. Yeah, he remembers his life, and then he goes and visits his old home, and sort of envisions, like, I guess I'm assuming that was maybe one of his last memories of being there with his wife and his kid and all that.
Well, he
Yeah.
just moved from what's the name of that city he moved from? He transferred from
I don't
Delta
remember.
City?
Delta City.
Yeah.
So I think this was his first day, right? Like on the job, he got
I
like
think
lit up
so.
and then became
God
RoboCop.
damn.
Yeah, because I remember
a
in
rough
that
first
scene.
day at work.
And that scene, he's like playing with the gun, and then he's like, well, every boy's got to have a hero. And then you go to the memory of him in his house, and
Oh, he's the TV show.
yeah, the laser gun.
What's
Right, yeah.
And that's why he
remember
does that whole like thing with the
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He spins the gun. Yeah.
spins
He
the gun
spins
around.
the gun,
It
yeah.
feels very Clint Eastwood.
Every boy's
kinda
got to
old-
have a hero.
old Western style.
So Murphy's revenge, trying to catch all of the guys that murdered him. What's up with that? Why would he do that if he's just a robot trying to fight crime?
Because he has the animosity towards Kurtwood Smith for doing what he did to him, for taking his life from him. Just because he's a robot, I don't think it
I think what started it was the interaction with the guy on the motorcycle at the gas station.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Because he recognized him. He's like,
right.
it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
we killed you.
Yeah,
then
and he records it,
He
plays
records
it back.
and he plays it back, and then just something in him just clicks, and he remembers like, hey,
Correct,
that's
yeah.
that guy that was part
That
of the
shot
gang.
me.
That's when he
Yeah.
starts looking
And
at
then he uses, the police database to track the rest of them down.
I mean, you could argue that.
and he finds himself quite literally.
Yeah.
You could argue that they committed a crime and were never caught for it, and so RoboCop's like prime directive is like to stop crime, so that's why he's
Yeah.
doing it.
And since they are criminals,
Like he knows they're
Yeah.
criminals for a fact.
Yeah.
And go
And
stop
I mean,
them.
the
But
irony
he takes
of the
it
whole
personal,
film.
though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's personal. I mean,
Yeah.
they like.
And
they
yeah,
killed
you
him.
could say that because then there's that scene where where he's fighting Kurtwood Smith and he's about to just kill him, and then
Do you
Like,
know
he
he
Yeah,
lets
he
him
says
go
something
through all the
personal.
windows?
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're right, I am a police officer,
A police officer.
and he
Doesn't
doesn't
kill
kill
him.
him.
You were going to say? Oh, okay. So let's talk about just the basics of film. So the cinematography was really amazing out of what I expected it to be, because you could see every single detail very clearly, especially with the 820 robot.
ED209.
Ed-
ED209, that
Ed
one.
209. He's great.
Yeah, it was very, very crisp. And I think the editing, that was also pretty good. The way they brought in those scenes from the trailers.
The trailers, yes.
Oh,
that we
the-
all
No,
the
the
murder, right?
commercials. Every
Oh,
time
yeah,
they would
yeah.
go back and forth with the commercials, it
Commercials
felt
are
like I was in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it wasn't supposed to be the 80s, though.
It doesn't say what year it's supposed to be, right? It's just like near future.
Near
it's
future,
near
yeah.
future.
But
It
So
feels
maybe it
very
was the
80s.
90s. Maybe I felt that 90s vibe.
Like
So-
kind of what is it? Escape from New York, where it takes place in like 1997.
Oh yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Like they sort of like, I guess like in the 80s they sort of saw like the 90s as like the dystopian time to be alive.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think whoever did the cinematography for this is just incredible. I could see every single detail, even the details I didn't want to see. Whoever did also the graphic design, no, not the graphic design, but like that guy that got wasted with the toxic waste.
Oh yeah,
And
the Cronenberg.
Every time that they
Cronenberg,
were
Oh, like the makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
the
makeup,
effects. Yeah,
the
they still
effects.
hold up. Like
practical
they
effects.
were
yeah.
good. They were
So
Cronenberg good.
Yeah.
when the car hits the acid.
Oh
dude,
my God,
like,
he
just-
explodes?
and it's like water.
Yeah,
it's just it's
yeah.
so
fucking,
gross.
Like aqueous shit.
His head
like
comes
it's
off
just
too.
like
And then he comes out all like deformed and stuff. Ooh.
it's lovely. It was great character and creature design. I loved the practical effects when they blow the hand off,
Oh,
That-
it
and,
looks-
yeah.
and it's just his like literal arm bleeding. It looks like you can tell it's practical effects when they blow off his entire arm.
And then they just
Um,
line up and then just start blasting.
You start blasting the
They have
living
to
shit out of
reload.
it.
They run
And
out
it
of
looks,
ammo.
yeah, that is not CGI. I mean, there wasn't.
It was there was no CGI.
Yeah,
on
I
it.
think that scene at the time was pretty controversial just because of how violent it was and how long they lingered. Like,
Yeah, and
on the
I
shot
feel
of
like
him
more
getting-
than just the very first one that's absolutely hilarious, with Ed. That one lingers, but most of them tend to. They kind of linger. That's why I'm
Yeah.
very interested in seeing the X-rated version. Yeah, I can imagine they just last for 10 minutes.
So, what were your favorite scenes out of this movie? Because mine is that last one where the girl, Lauren, right?
Lewis.
Lewis says, Murphy, I'm a mess. And he's like, I'll fix it. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
God.
Like, I could totally tell that Lewis had a thing going on for him even before he became Robocop.
Oh,
Probably.
yeah.
Those
It's a married
looks.
man, though.
Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, there was actually supposed to be an affair between the two of them.
What? Is that in the rated R version?
No. Like, they never put it in the movie, but I think
This
like
is
in
like the rated R version.
In the script, the original script, I think there was supposed to be like an affair angle between the two of them, maybe before he turns into RoboCop.
Oh wow.
But they.
But how
you know,
could that be? He just got there. That's his first day.
maybe it wasn't in the original script. Maybe the original script was totally different. I don't know. I haven't read the original script. I mean, I'd like to.
Maybe that's why he moved over to Detroit, because he
Maybe.
had the affair.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, what was your favorite scene?
I like the ending scene when he's killing what's that dude's name? I forget names, but like where
yeah.
he's like
Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah, when he's like gonna. Yeah, he's gonna shoot him, and like he has the CEO hostage,
Clarence Boddicker.
and he's like, "You're fired."
Oh, yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Thank you," and he just like shoots him.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all he needed.
Yeah, it was that same guy that got Bob murdered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dick Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dick Jones.
Yeah, I always
That was it.
confused Dick Jones and the old man. Like they're both so similar. 'cause
They
they're-
did
they're
look a
both,
lot
like,
alike.
Older white guys always wearing suits.
You're like, what is the distinction? I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. So what about you, Cougs? What was your favorite scene?
Oh gosh.
Too many?
Too many to count. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Whole
This movie
movie's-
means too
the
much.
whole movie's
to
my
you.
favorite scene. But I guess I really like the that whole part with the drug warehouse. That whole shootout. I don't know. I like that scene.
that one's pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
a really good shootout scene because there's all that powder getting everywhere, a lot of automatic weapons,
Yeah.
you know, and then it
Very
leads,
action packed.
It's action packed. It's a great set piece, and then it goes on to the whole bit where he meets Clarence Boddicker for the first time and starts throwing him through the windows.
Yeah.
He gets cut up in his face, and
Oh, that was brilliant.
that's the the
That
scene
was so
where
good to watch.
yeah, where the RoboCop becomes less of Murphy and more of RoboCop because he decides that he doesn't want to go through with his personal vendetta. He wants to be a police officer and arrest.
Yeah, that was groundbreaking too, because the whole plot was him getting his revenge, but here we also have that other plot where it's him doing police stuff, actually policing. But it was groundbreaking to see him not take that personal vendetta. He actually took him to get incarcerated. And then in the end, the other guy, Dick Jones, was in on it. So
Yeah, he gets
Yeah,
away
Dick
with it, and then they come back after RoboCop after that. But yeah,
what about you, DA? What was your favorite scene?
Every single one with Kurtwood Smith. Just every single one. He had all
when
of the
they
greatest
haul him
scenes.
into the police station, and then he's
Yeah,
like
and-
bleeding, and then he just
Give me that
spits on the paper.
Give me
"Oh,
my fucking phone call.
Oh,
Yes, that it was just like that he's getting out. He hasn't made. He's part of all of this.
It's part of the system.
Yeah, it's part of the system.
Yeah.
I think that's also another big part of the movie. We don't really. It is a big statement on, how corrupt police and government forces are, and that is something you're kind of ingrained in the campiness of the film.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I would say it's not like a pro cop whatever movie. You
Okay.
know. But not
It's
that
not.
it matters. I mean, even if it were,
It's
it's
about
a
as
fun
pro cop
movie.
as Maniac Cop.
Oh my god.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the whole
God.
movie was just full satire, indeed. I can't.
That's
debate
why. But
that.
see, that's why. That's also one of the reasons it is a cult classic, and we are. It's a Criterion film, and we're talking about it right now.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Yeah.
Like, should it be in the Criterion collection?
Oh, definitely.
I think it should.
Yes,
And
it is
why?
As
just.
far as 80s movies goes, I mean, yeah.
It's probably like the best one, like the best action movies, like in the '80s
Yeah.
too. I'd say like this one, like Predator, are like.
And I
really
would
good.
say that RoboCop is kind of iconic in a way too.
Yeah, it is so influential. It is so iconic. Like I told, I can talk to anyone. You can talk to anyone about RoboCop.
Yeah.
People will know the name just because it's such an influential film, and I think that alone is probably a reason it is in the Criterion collection.
I don't know. Every time I think about RoboCop, I think about that robot dance in the 80s. Do you think
Oh,
that's
God.
who
Robot?
inspired it? Yeah, like do 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 do.
I hope
It's
not.
likely,
They
yeah.
never did it.
That's like how he was walking the whole time. He was like
He
moving
looks a
like
little
that,
robot.
Yeah, you really sold it. For him to be in that suit and do all those movements precisely the way that a robot would do them, that is incredible.
I wonder how they put like how they made it without the helmet, because when he takes it off, it's like his whole back of his head.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
robotic.
That
It looks
looked
like his
pretty great.
skin's like pulled like.
It
the end
does.
of
It
it?
almost
I
looks
wonder how
like
the
it's
prosthetic was.
underneath his skin in the back.
Yeah, I wonder how like the
you know
helmet
how they did
piece
that?
or something like that.
I think it was all just one prosthetic. Like the only part that's real is just
Like
like,
the
that
front of-
tiny
the
part
front of his face?
but everything
There-
else.
There's
is all,
probably like an elastic part of his face that isn't real that they stretch out.
Yeah,
I
like it's
imagine.
probably just like the main face.
like
but I just
the
wonder how
outside.
they. I imagine how long it probably took to. Put
I
that
was
on.
surprised that face survived that shootout at the very
Because they
beginning.
they never go for his head except for the part where they shoot him like right in the
Oh
temple.
yeah, it was when he
At the very end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, there was no scar. I didn't see no scars. I didn't see anything
Well,
on
they
that
did shoot him at the
face.
top of the head though, not in the face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if it's not in the face, it doesn't count.
Yeah, and they probably had plastic
Exactly.
surgeons or the equivalent of that when they were building RoboCop. And they didn't want to, have a scarred, hideous
yeah.
face.
Yeah.
be
Oh, yeah.
Poster
RoboCop.
boy, yeah.
You got to have a face that looks like Peter Weller.
Yeah, Peter Weller was
Of
So you
course.
can trust the guy. It's like he's a robot, but he's got a face you can trust.
exactly nice,
Yeah.
lovable
Not
Nice
scary.
robot.
guy
looking.
face.
He's a lovable cyborg.
All
And
right.
he was nice to those kids and everything.
Exactly.
They look like they're
Just
having fun.
sold it,
with
man.
All right. So let's get down to the ratings, though. What rating would you give it, Ron? Out of 5 stars, what's your rating?
4 out of 5.
Damn, that's high.
Yeah, this is an awesome movie. It's sick. I like this movie a lot.
I was expecting to give it like a 5 out of 5.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
4.
that right? Maybe 5 out of 5, but
Oh,
4
sorry.
is still pretty high. Cougs, what's your rating?
4.5.
Whoa, you one-upping,
Yeah.
half-upping,
Just a half
Ron?
up.
That's one.
What about you, Dean?
I am also out of 4 out of 5. Yeah, I love
Am I
this
the
movie.
only one that's out of 3?
Probably.
Yes, clearly.
It's my fucking artsy ass
Yeah.
that just won't let me say this movie is good. But I will admit, I could revisit this movie. I could revisit and enjoy the watch because it is just that family vibe too. Not really family vibe with all the gory scenes, right? But
Yeah.
it is much more friendlier.
Yeah, and it's sort of like an action movie that's kind of it's not an action movie. It's kind of like what is it? It's got a message, It's a satirical,
Yeah.
anti-police, romp that's disguised as an action movie. Because there's a lot of underlying, messages that it's trying to say, in between the, hands getting shot off and
yeah, of course.
vengeance and all that.
Consumerism for sure.
Consumerism,
that's like a big part of it.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's all that.
Now we're
all those,
talking.
the parts where they're showing how like OCP is like trying to like clear out all the poor parts of town because they want to create a bigger, more futuristic, expensive version of Detroit.
They call it a cancer, and they gotta like take it out.
Yeah, that's what they. Yeah, they did call it, and that's why they created RoboCop because they wanted to get rid of all that violence and all that crime, but they didn't expect
so
it to have
there's
feelings.
there's a lot of ideas there, like underneath the surface of the action movie plot that sort of I think resonate today.
Yeah, I agree. Very anti-corp, anti-establishment style
It
film
was.
that people don't really dig into because
Yeah, because sometimes people just watch the movie for
it's
face
surface
value.
level.
They don't really
Surface
It's
level
super
it
subtle.
appears one way, but no,
It's got the best of both worlds.
Because it's not heavy-handed. It's like
it isn't
you,
heavy-handed.
you figure that's the way this world works by how the other characters act with one another, the
Yeah.
commercials, the news, the way everyone's. I mean, like corporation, like the corporation owns the police. There's a scene where like
Yeah.
a guy with a suit walks into the police station and is like, "It's out of your jurisdiction. Like we own the cops. Like get the hell out of here." It's just like that's their police station. They're just coming in and like taking it over. That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go
Alrighty.
ahead and wrap it up. So, much love to the RoboCop
Much love to Peter Weller.
and Kurtwood Smith.
Yes.
All right. And so, thank you, Mr.
Ron.
Cougar.
DA.
and your hostess, Idanya. Closing down.